Use a good product, be a good hairdresser, educate your client how to take care of their hair at home. I always said that our service is like a three-legged stool. Any one of these three legs breaks, then that stool is falling over. The product, you touched on that in the very beginning, get good quality hair if you want to have great success, in my opinion. Second is the hairdresser, educated, doing a good job. If you do a good job, great. But you know what? If that freaking client does something stupid, it could ruin the other two. So if the client takes care of their hair well, you do a good job and you got good hair, you should have a good product experience all the way around. But all three have to be good. And so, God, that might be the three most important things when doing keratin hair extensions. Use a good product, be a good hairdresser, educate your client how to take care of their hair at home. That might mean detangling. It might mean if they have fine, thin hair, they come in more often to have them taken out and put back in because they're going through the shedding process faster. If you're doing their color every 4 to 6 weeks like you should be doing, keratin generally stays in 3 to 6 months, depending on the person, the technique, and the hair. You should be checking on it as they come in for their color highlights or some kind of check visits in between. And you communicate with them. Do they need a clean up? Whole nother video. Maybe you need to be cutting those wild shed hairs off the sides of the bonds.
And for the love of God, teach them how to blow dry style their hair. Air drying is not a valid option.
Don't sleep with wet hair.
And then there's so many little tips and tricks to the nuances of maintenance, which we should probably do a whole thing on maintenance too, because dear man, the amount of calls that I get and questions that I get is just so many things could have been so easily avoided, so easily avoided. So
what would you say in closing, three most important things when doing keratin? If we keep it on keratin, three most important things. One thing we didn't really cover that I think about is heating the bond enough. I would say jagged ends to get started, heating the bond enough. I think some people squeeze that little keratin bond and pull the tool off and try to roll it in, and the heat did not penetrate. Push a little harder with the tool, a little longer. Maybe the tool wasn't hot enough, left on long enough, and pushed firm enough. Because pushing the tool's heat into the bond, that keratin bond is a certain roundness. The tool hits it and it starts to melt and it gets a little flatter and it's halfway there and you take the tool off. Well, you didn't even melt the keratin all the way through. So melting the keratin all the way through, now the keratin bond is cooling. And you put the tool down and you have a little chat with the UPS man. And then 20 seconds later, you decide, oh, I've got to roll this thing because I heated it up. Well, it ain't freaking hot anymore. It drives me crazy. People,
and then they tap. And then they tap.
Put the tool down and like, yeah, I'll take a Big Mac and fries. Why don't you supersize it? And then they roll the bond. And it's like, when you heat that bond up, it's only hot for a second. So put the tool down and get your fingers to it and roll it as fast as you can, because the sooner and faster you roll it, the closer to completely melted, if you melted the bond correctly, the closer it is completely melted. And then when you roll it, the more of the hairs of the client it joins with and the better it stays. So to me, heating, I don't know if there's three most important things, but to me, heating the bond long enough, firm enough, rolling it tight enough, and then I got two. I don't know if there's a third.
Consultation, application, maintenance.